There's been a consultation bill, so it's likely going to be passed to Legico in May or June, and likely would be passed.
Okay.
So it's mainly on introducing legislations on anti-money laundering,
Okay.
and on exchanges, service providers for virtual assets, digital assets.
Okay.
So exchanges, OTCs that you see in Hong Kong would then have to comply with these laws and regulations. I think one important thing to point out is even with the introduction of the legislation, in a private individual is permitted to trade in cryptocurrencies, but there would be restrictions on the service providers in Hong Kong who they could provide service to.
Okay.
So one aspect is for a licensed exchange of virtual goods, virtual assets in Hong Kong, they could only provide services to professional investors, which means you have to have over $1 million
Right.
of liquid assets,
Right.
excluding real estate properties,
Right.
and specifically excluding cryptocurrencies.
Right.
So you can't say I have like 2 million in cryptocurrencies. That's excluded from qualifying you on whether you are a professional investor.
All right. So a couple implications, I guess. So first of all, a lot of exchanges, OTCs, they will need to get a license very soon.
Yes.
Second, the KYC is going to be very difficult and very hectic.
A lot of these service providers already anticipate the need to do KYC. So right now, even I think most of them would already be doing KYCs.
Right. But the assessment of whether you are a professional investor, that would require a bit more effort and work, right? Yeah.
And I think it would exclude a lot of the existing customers.
Right.
Because obviously a lot of the customers base now may not qualify to be professional investors.
Right. Using Binance as an example, what if I still have money in Binance? They choose to leave Hong Kong, and I sort of want to get my money back. Let's say they are willing to give me my money back. Okay. So, am I going to be in trouble for collecting money from an overseas exchange?
You could open a new MetaMask wallet and transfer your assets from Binance to your own MetaMask.
Right. And then deal with it, if you later, right? If you want to exchange it back to fiat or whatever.
Well, exchanging back to fiat, then that concerns OTC.
Yeah. Can go and use
transferring back into a Hong Kong bank account. That's a completely separate issue as well. We could briefly talk about that. Generally, Hong Kong banks are quite reluctant to accept money back from crypto proceeds. It's because banks have a very high hurdle to comply with anti-money laundering.
Yeah.
And it's quite, I won't say it's impossible, but it's quite difficult and maybe time consuming for a bank to go through the KYC and tracing to ensure that the funds that you're sending in are not proceeds of crime. And the banks would then, from a commercial perspective, say, well, it's just too much hassle, then I'm not going to accept these proceeds. And they would prefer to just use you as a customer, close your bank account. Because in the unfortunate event where they do accept crypto funds and it turns out to be illegal proceeds, the banks would get fined like huge amounts.
Yep.
And it's not worth it to them.